Hello guys and welcome back to I'm a Celeb Catch Up, and today we have got an episode full of twists and turns and troubles and tribulations to talk about, and I gotta say I was thoroughly entertained. I gotta say it feels like the episodes are starting to feel less boring, but maybe that's because the boring members of camp have left, and so we're left with kind of the entertaining people and Nigel. So I feel like a lot of this episode was based around sort of Sam, if I'm being honest. It felt like we didn't really see, I'm certain that we didn't see Marvin and Josie until about 3/4 of the way through the episode. I'll be deadly honest. Marvin we saw a little bit earlier, but Josie I don't think I saw until they went off to do the call center challenge. So weird editing going on, very weird editing. Maybe Josie was just asleep all day, I don't know, but very, very strange if I'm being 100% honest. So we've got a couple of misc moments to start with, and they're just little moments that I noticed before the first trial. The first one was that Nigel was trying to keep the fire going, and he was just having a bit of a grumpy morning. Doesn't surprise me at all. I feel like I'd be quite grumpy in the jungle if I was in that situation. So yeah, not particularly surprised. And then Sam was singing a best friend song for him and Tony, which was so funny because Tony looked so uncomfortable, but also was kind of just like, oh, this guy, I want to hate him, but like he's so lovely and so sweet. And then the last thing I noticed was that Sam is now the camp chef, which is only going to go poorly. Oh no, what do you mean Sam's the camp chef? Oh no, that's horrendous. Whoever decided that, oh my god, you've fucked him over. You fucked him over royally right there. So today's trial was No Time to Cry 2, Cry Harder. And I said this at the start of the season when Nella ducked out of No Time to Cry. I said they're going to bring this back, they're going to reuse it because this has obviously cost them a lot of money and they want to get the most out of it, and they often do that with like a trial that of sort of this scale that requires building and things like that. So I've got to say, very entertaining trial, and it was made entertaining because the one, the only Sam decided to do it. And I gotta say, Sam makes anything entertaining because he just jumps headfirst into whatever is going on, and he just enjoys doing it, and it's so crazy to watch because normally you're watching people like scream and yell because they're scared, but he's genuinely like, oh, this is so awesome, yes! So he came along to the Bush Tucker trial clearing, and before that happened, there's been a lot of sort of dismissive comments towards Sam over the last couple of days. There was one a couple of days ago with Fred where Sam was like, oh, I want to do the trial, and Fred was like, no, I'm doing it. Go play with your toys because it's time for the men to do the trial or something like that. And I just thought that's so disrespectful and rude. And then Nigel this time was like, it's time for serious Sam. It's time for serious Sam. And I was like, Nigel genuinely has zero sympathy for anybody with ADHD. Like, genuinely no sympathy whatsoever. Because I'm not even going to go into how, like, that is just not okay to say. Oh! Nigel, how is he still in the jungle? How has he made top 5? Oh, so annoying. Anyway, so where am I going with this? So yeah, Sam turned up to the clearing and he was very excited to do it on his own. And once he was told that it was like a spy thing and he had like a spy watch, he was like proper in character. He like was like, do you remember a couple of episodes ago he was explaining the plot of his like spy movie or his like cop movie with Marvin? We took on that identity of Merv. And the entire trial was just basically him in character as Merv, as as Ant and Dec were talking him through it in character as well. When I tell you this was the most entertaining trial of the whole series, I was enjoying it. He was struggling at first with those laser beams. I actually don't know how Nella did it so quickly on the first time, but like it seemed to take him quite a long time to do it. But he also kept going past like past the rooms and forgetting to get the stars to the point where Ant and Dec were like, you haven't got the stars yet. He did that twice, which was quite funny. Then he came to the electric shock room, which he absolutely stormed through and was just getting zapped left, right, and centre. And then it was into what was next? So that was the spider one. Oh, then it was the green ant, like duct, I guess. And then he crawled onto. I knew this was a platform, not a platform, a trapdoor. I knew it was a trapdoor. Just from looking at it, I could see it was a trapdoor, and I was like, "Yeah, this ain't going well. This ain't going well for you, bro. This ain't going well." And so he got the star. The trapdoor plunged him into water, and then crocodiles were in there, and I was like, that's crazy, but also how entertaining. This was brilliant. It really did feel like a spy thriller. And then he ended up in the sort of evil boss's lair, the sort of office, and he got the last star. So he got 6 out of 6. Fairly certain he's the only person since Jamie to get all the stars. Jamie Lynn? I could be wrong about that. I don't know. Yeah, I could be very wrong about that. I can't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, he did exceptionally well. I was very, very impressed, and I'm glad that we got to see the rest of the trial because we didn't even really get that far with Nella. So yeah, this was definitely a very, very entertaining trial, and I really appreciated the drama and the passion that Sam brought into it with his whole just demeanor, I guess. So it's time to talk about Ricegate, and I'm very firmly on one person's side when it comes to Ricegate, and I think you guys can all guess, but it was very, very clearly one person's fault. So Sam had come back from the trial, and he's told, Nigel's now your sous chef, right? So immediately I was like, oh no, oh no. So Nigel's put the rice on. Sam's walked in absolutely exhausted and sat down and laid down for a second. Nigel's then come over to him and gone something like, "Oh, I'm going off for a minute. The rice only needs a few more minutes," or something like that. And so Nigel fucks off to wherever he's going. Doesn't pay attention to the rice. Sam is genuinely exhausted, falls asleep for a bit. So when he wakes up, he can smell burning, and they've burnt the rice. And then Nigel comes back down and goes, "Oh, I told you to put water on the rice in a minute." And so I was like, "No, you didn't." And we were like, as the audience, "No, you didn't. You never said to put water on the rice. That just did not happen. You said the rice is reducing, it only needs a few minutes. You didn't say put more water on the rice." What? So essentially, they ended up with burnt rice. And I gotta say, it's Nigel's fault. Why were you walking off? This man's just come back from a bush tucker trial. What the fuck have you done all day? Nothing. So just look after the rice. If it only had a few more minutes, could you not have waited a few more minutes to do whatever you were doing? Like, yeah, fair if you were going to the toilet. But, like, tell Sam, I'm going to the toilet. Please look after the rice. Don't fall asleep. He was just like, oh yeah, the rice only needs a few more minutes. It's just reducing. And I was just like, okay, cool. Cool. But, like, that's not Sam's fault when it burnt. I'm sorry. Yeah, he probably should have woken up. But, like, he's exhausted. Give the bro a break. He just won you 6 stars for camp. Oh, God, some people, eh? But they started tasting the rice, and Sam was doing his best to sell it to people. Because he tasted it, and him and Danielle went, it tastes like popcorn. And then he was like, right, it's popcorn rice. And everyone was just like, oh, mate, you're not selling this to us. You're not selling it on a silver platter to us. Come on. What is going on here? So yeah, that was a little bit of a funny moment, I gotta say. Very, very entertaining. And damn, Nigel, why are you fucking up the rice like that? Why? So dinner time rolled around, and today they had something called a rubber-lipped fish. Never heard of it. I've actually never heard of it. Like, if you'd have given them something like I don't know, eel. I've heard of eel, but I've never heard of a rubber-lipped fish. So obviously everyone was sitting there shitting themselves because they were like, who the fuck's gonna gut this? Nigel is a gutter when it comes to fish. He knows how to gut a fish, and he did so rather stupendously, which kind of shocked me. And it really irritates me because it kind of makes up for the fact he burnt the rice earlier. So, yeah, swings and roundabouts. But I gotta say, the meal was interesting. It's so funny to see Sam flail and sort of flap in the kitchen. I'm a flailer and flapper when it comes to the kitchen. I am very much all over the place. Like, ha, 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 ha. But, like, I still turn out good meals. So, what can I say? Maybe it's just my approach. But yeah, so that was a very interesting part of the episode. And then we moved on to the call center. Ooh, I don't know if it had like a fancier name than that, but the call center essentially meant that 4 of them would have to sit in the call center at a time. And there would be 3 shifts, and they had to answer 12 questions correctly between them. So obviously, I was sitting there going, okay, what's the prize? Well, the prize was a cup of tea and I guess a bacon sandwich, but like a breakfast butty is what they were offering. So yeah, I gotta say, good prize. I'd do this for that if I was in the jungle for that long. But also, I thought it was actually a very, very entertaining trial, I gotta say. And some of the questions were hard. Like, one of them was, like, which girl band's original name was Touch. I didn't know it was the Spice Girls. I feel like I did know, because when he said that, I was like, oh, that makes sense. But, like, I didn't know off the top of my head. That's crazy. So, there were a lot of different questions that I definitely wouldn't have got. Like, when Nigel said that there were 651 members of Parliament in the House of Commons. And I was like, oh, cool. And then he was like, but one of them is impartial, so there's actually 650. I was like, whoa, I did not know that. That's so cool. To learn facts on I'm a Celeb like that. Crazy. There were a couple of irritating ones that got me. I think Sam got a couple wrong that were annoying answers. Like, I knew the answers to some of them that they didn't, and I was like, ugh, that's so annoying. Josie, Danielle, Tony, and Nigel were in first, and then Josie swapped out with Sam, and then Danielle swapped out with Marvin, and they managed to get 12 overall. I gotta say, I was very, very impressed with them. They did better than I expected them to. But yeah, it was a good, entertaining trial, and it just gave us something else to watch in the episode, I guess. We didn't get to see them eat their bacon sandwiches or their breakfast butties or their cup of teas. We'll probably see that in tonight's episode. However, it was still very, very entertaining, I gotta say. So yeah, that's pretty much the episode. So let's jump straight in to who went home. So it came down to Danielle versus Tony. I feel like the writing's been on the wall for Danielle for a little bit now. Nigel should have gone home well before this, I will say. But let's not talk about how the British public are voting. They can't be trusted, let's just put it that way. So essentially, we've now come down to a top 5. And Danielle's been kicked out. So there's 1 female and 4 blokes in there, which is a little bit crazy, I've got to admit. I don't think we've ever been in a situation like this early on in the competition, especially at top 5. So bit of a crazy one, bit of a wild one, if I'm being honest. But yeah, on the whole, Danielle, very, very good campmate. I've enjoyed her. Am I gonna miss her? Yeah, probably. But then we've only got 3 episodes before the finale, so I feel like I'm not gonna miss her as much as I would have if she had gone out first. Do you see what I mean? So it feels like so long ago since like Nella and Fred and Frankie left. But it's only been like a couple of days. So yeah, it was a good episode. Danielle's exit interview, she also said that she wanted Sam to win, which I think everyone kind of wants Sam to win. They see how much this experience has meant to him and how much he wants it to sort of much he wants to win it because he's so in love with this show. I think the only person that I can see beating him is Nigel if the public are really fucking stupid. And I think if Nigel won I'm a Celeb, cancel the show. Cancel it. Because, like, you're not voting for who's most entertaining, because Nigel has not been the most entertaining person. Not even out of this top 5. has he been the most entertaining. I think the only person who's been slightly less entertaining than him is Marvin, but even then, Marvin's had great moments, whereas Nigel's just not had that many. He has like the odd comment, and then he just says some stuff that just really fucks me over and like pisses me off. Oh, I'm gonna stop getting heated. So, thank you guys very, very much for watching, and I will see you guys tomorrow for another episode. Thank you guys very, very much for watching. Keep on ranting. Bye now. See you later.